Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 184. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, bonds are forged with the familiar return of Crimson Days, some hard-to-hear news is delivered on the future of Trials, and we talk about how our downtime is spent in Destiny and elsewhere. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and of course, Mr. CyborgSasquatch. Hello, buddy.
Hello, Guardian. How are you?
That was delayed. You just scared me.
I'm still here.
Starting with the pregnant pause right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm just gonna knock it out.
That's done.
I was considering, like, when you started, I was thinking about something, and I was considering doing one of my special openings for you, but.
Yeah, you like to throw me off with those every now and then. I do appreciate it, though.
I just went with...
Keeps me on my toes.
The generic. Hello.
The generic, it's late. We're going to try and sound as awake as possible. Hello.
Dismantle show, yes.
There you go. How's it going?
It's going fine. You know, it's happy Crimson Days.
Yes, happy Crimson Days.
Hope you enjoyed your Crimson Days.
Yes, we'll get into that. I have a new bow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it called the Vow?
It is.
You know what I got to go with your new bow?
What did you get?
Special exotic for my hunter.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Very nice.
Did get Oath Keepers. And
is
I
that
have
thing,
to say, fashion-wise, maybe the best hunter arms.
Really? Okay.
So awesome.
Is it still a little bugged? I haven't kept up with it.
I don't know.
Is it fully functioning now?
No idea. Okay. Haven't tried.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure. I've actually just recently gotten the bows back out, probably because of this bow, but I haven't tested it. We'll talk about it in Crimson Days. I switched back to my Subtle Calamity just because I wanted to throw something on I was familiar with. But anyways, week's going good?
Yes, it was a busy, very busy week, and I caught up on some sleep this weekend.
Very nice.
I was just dead tired by Friday. But then there was games to play, you know? That's always the conundrum. Like, you're tired as hell, but but there's this game. There's a game
always
to play.
Games to play. Yes. Always games. Yeah, it's been the usual for us as well, you know, busy and stuff. I actually did this week decide to, because I have been playing some single player games, so I decided to go through my shelf of games and organize all the ones that I haven't played through, mostly single player, obviously. And yeah, there's way more than I even thought there was. Dude, I have like 10 to 15 games.
Oh, wow.
That I haven't beaten.
How are you going to play
single player games? I have no idea. I'm just going to go one step at a time. I'll get into it at Reset. I did knock out Spider-Man. But yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I thought about picking up, taking a couple games in my backlog and just plowing through them, literally see, okay, how fast could I finish this game? Without skipping anything. But I have a tendency to really take my time
in
games, you know, even in a single player shooter with a campaign. I'm kind of chugging along, seeing the sights, listening to all the dialogue, you know.
Yep.
But so I have Titanfall 2 still sitting on my shelf in plastic, you know.
Here.
And I've heard nothing but awesome things about that campaign. What would it take? Could I just plow through that one evening if I just really wanted to? Maybe. I don't think it's that long.
I don't think so. No, that's definitely one that I have on my shelf.
But
and
other
I
games come
play
out
at some point,
you know.
Yep.
And catch my attention. It's ooh, new shiny thing. Ooh, another new shiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff,
I know,
man.
and then there's nothing more fun than starting a new game, especially all games are fun, but I mean when you have the intention of setting down and playing a single player campaign or a single player experience, setting down, I even looking up a little media about it beforehand, obviously not spoilers, but just some information about it. Maybe it's lore, maybe it's whatever. You kind of get yourself psyched up a bit, and then you load up the game, kind of go through the menus, do the thing, get yourself acquainted with it, and then you dive in. It's just
I actually hate starting new games.
Oh, really? See, I
I
love
don't
it.
really
I love it.
enjoy until I get a third of the way in.
Really?
Because I hate the process of getting the game loaded up, the anticipation of, well, what's this
Kinda
game
like starting
gonna
a
be
movie
like? Is
that
it
you
worth my
haven't seen.
time when I could just boot up another game?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got to learn the control scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to go through the tutorial. You got to go through the opening setup for a story.
Yeah.
There's just all this investment that has to happen.
Just to see if you're going to
Then
enjoy
maybe
it, right?
6 hours later, you're into the game. Like, okay, you understand it.
It sounds like you're talking about Red Dead, which is what you...
Like, this is every game. Like, think about it. Most games are like this now. And so I hate starting new games because there's so much up front. And I just want to be into the fun part,
Yeah. It's so funny looking at it different ways because I totally get what you're saying. But I guess like maybe even more so recently, I kind of know what I'm getting into. So... but I don't know, man, even really for me, like the first initial diving into the game, minus like when it takes 2 hours to get out of a tutorial mission to get to like the open world part of the game. Yeah, that kind of stinks sometimes.
The one moment I do love when starting a new game is being at the title screen. I don't know why, but just being at the title screen excites me for any game. I'm like, ooh, new title screen. And I look around. I never just go straight to start the game. I go through the options. I see what else is there. And now with title screens, they're typically, it's not just a flat UI. Like a lot of the time, it'll be a 3D experience, right?
Yep.
It's interesting. Anyways.
Like Blu-ray menus.
All right, this was the beginning of the show.
Yes, hope everybody's doing great.
Yep.
Welcome
to a show about Destiny. Let's do a couple announcements and then we'll actually talk about Destiny here.
Yes. Just since everybody trolled us on Twitter, Cyborg and I decided we're not going to do giveaways anymore.
Nope. From now on, we only participate in other people's giveaways.
Yes, and we are going to, everything you guys have sent us to give away to the Derp fam, we're just going to keep it, if that's okay.
Or eBay it.
Or eBay,
cool
yeah.
Too.
We kind
so
of
if you want to get some
too.
stuff, some really cool swag off eBay, just keep your eye out for like a user account Destiny Reset auctions.
Yes. All funds will go towards the production of the show. Maybe.
Yeah.
No. Okay, we're only
Just
kidding. We're only kidding.
We got some cool swag to give away this week.
Nobody's laughing.
For real.
We do, man. We got some really cool stuff. Of course, some blue gears in there. But before we get to that, we got to give a shout out to Lucas, aka Pinch It Up 23 in the Derp fam. Thank you so much. He gave us like quite a few Forsaken playing cards to give away. These were the cards you got for, was it for reserving?
If you pre-ordered Forsaken through GameStop, they gave away Forsaken themed playing cards. It was a set. And this is different. There is a Destiny playing card set that you can buy, but this is a totally different thing. And it had characters that had the Barons and Cade and Uldren and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, they're cool, dude.
Mirosov was on a card. Really beautiful. Like, I have these up on my shelf just to look at.
I love them. Yep.
And a lot of people, like, some GameStops didn't get as many, so you might not have gotten one. Or maybe you pre-ordered it, maybe you got it online. Either way, if you don't have a set, we're going to give away 5 of these bad boys. And we'll ship them to you for free. How do people win one of these Forsaken playing card sets?
You guys, you already know. You go to where you were trolling us about not doing a giveaway yet. Go on Twitter at Destiny Reset and just look for a tweet. As you're listening to this, it probably will be up already. Retweet and give us a follow, and we'll pick 5 people at random. How long do they have for this?
We'll do it this week, through this week. How about through, let's pick a date. How about we'll give you till the 24th?
There we go. Sunday the 24th.
Yep.
And then we will announce.
Follow, retweet, and we'll announce these on Twitter.
Yes.
And then you'll have to DM us or email us so we can get your shipping information, and we'll send it along from us to you.
Yes.
Thanks, Lucas, for those cards, by the way.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask what truck those fell off of, but yep.
There's that.
All right, and then we're going to do another giveaway. We're going to give away a courtesy of our sponsor, Blue Microphones. We're going to give away a Blue Yeti microphone. So if you would like to win this, you got to do something a little bit different than normal. No retweets here. You got to participate. So in honor of Crimson Doubles, we want you to tell us about your Crimson Bond. Who is your BFF forever in Destiny and why? And to tell us, we want you to send us an email or a speak pipe. You can email us destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or send us a speak pipe, speakpipe.com/destinyreset. Tell us all about your Crimson Bond and why, and you'll be entered in a chance to win a Blue Yeti microphone.
Yes,
now,
do it.
We will try to play some of these on the show or shows coming up. Can't guarantee all of them will get airtime, but we'll try to pick some favorites.
Yes.
If there's a lot, I don't know. Maybe only 2 of you enter. You'll have great odds if you do. But sometimes there's like 50, so can't guarantee.
If you want to sneak a question in there, you can always. That's always welcome as well. After your lovely shout out to your
doesn't
BFF.
hurt your chances of airtime. Just saying.
Well, there we go. Look at that. See, we trolled them because they trolled us, and
that's right.
Then we're giving away
actually have
some
the
cool
goods.
stuff. Yeah, it's all friendly trolling, right?
That's right.
It's all good times.
All right, that's all the announcements this week. Now, if you're ready, it's time for the news. You ready for some news?
Yes. I mean, no, not for a portion of it, but
There's
yes.
some news that you're not going to want to hear.
You already told me like months ago.
For some of you Guardians, but, you know, this is just part of life.
We'll talk about it.
Tell you. I got to rip the Band-Aid off, though. We're going to have to get to it. This week at Bungie, Lord Shaxx is screaming sweet nothings into our ears. Of course, Crimson Doubles returned. What do you think about Crimson Dubs this week, man? Did you play some?
Well, I did. I've still been trying to finish up my single-player experience with Spider-Man, and it's been a little... I still got plenty on my to-do list with Destiny, but Crimson... I'm still playing.
Peter
Long
Parker's
story short,
got sweet webs around you, it sounds like.
He does, yes. He would be my Crimson Dubs partner, but so I did still fit in some Destiny, of course, but I did jump on because I wanted that bow, I wanted the Vow, and I played enough Crimson Doubles. I thought I was just going to run the Nightfall to get those 75 hearts, but I was like, you know what, let's just play some Crimson Doubles. Didn't take too long, got some bounties done, and picked up that bow. I honestly was super surprised. I know we talked about it last week, that it didn't seem like it was going to take as much as the horror story. Obviously, part of that's because this is a week-long, like we said, versus a 3-week-long event, but it really did not feel like it took much at all. I mean, you get 5 on a loss, 7 on a win, and the bounties give you 15. So,
yeah. And then there's
it was
75 heart bounty for the Nightfall, which isn't too bad to do.
Especially if you do that. Yeah, I didn't do that one. I just did the normal stuff, and it took like 5 to 10 games somewhere in there. But I got it. I haven't tested it out, like I said, too much yet. It's got like a little bit of a pew-pew sound, like the inaugural address, instead of like a heavy release of an arrow.
Chunk. It's more like
and I think it may be okay. I've wanted to get the bows back out. I used them a ton when Forsaken first launched because it's just my kind of weapon, and I kind of put them away when I was testing, goofing around with some other stuff, and I don't know, it's given me a reason to get them back out, but I had to quickly switch back to my Subtle Calamity until I can give it some more time. I think it's going to be good. What I really want to do is I want a bow to pair with my Last Word, and the Vow and or Subtle Calamity will do that, obviously, because they're energy. But anyways, I'll report back more on the Vow and my bow experience returning back to those. But you asked me about Crimson Days, dude. We kind of said it last week. I feel like this is the first event in a good while that feels like a little bland.
I'd be interested to see, numbers on participation. Last year, I didn't spend much time in it. Neither did most of my friends. Now, a good bit of my friends did play. I was just kind of all over the place this week, and I played some. I would like to play more, and that we're recording on a Sunday. I will probably jump in some more matches before the reset, but this was not a super attractive event for me. Partially because I love doubles. I love Crimson doubles. But
oh yeah, doubles are
we've
great.
been playing this, version of this mode for a few years now.
A while.
Right?
Yeah, I almost prefer, which this is like me and Mayhem versus competitive or something. I prefer just doubles and not Crimson doubles, but I do like the twist on it. Like it's fun for what it is for a week. Yeah,
there's some cheesy behavior that goes on, like the hunters with their script grenades get obnoxious, you know. A lot of people playing like really stand back, like super defensively. Just
well, that's the other problem with it. It's like survival, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Like you're not. It's like, you know, it's classic Crucible Radio. Use whatever, don't apologize. We even did it in a game or two. It's like you get ahead. And like, why would you, if you've had a challenging
just
game?
Throw
why?
Grenades out of a door frame and stand back for 60 seconds, right?
Yep.
So
anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the most fun I had was getting one of the secret medals and getting a double kill with two-tailed fox. That was fun. For me.
Nice, very cool. Yeah. Well, you know, and this event isn't supposed to be like. It's supposed to just be a nice little event for a week. You know, dive in if you want. It's coming at a weird time where we really probably are in the biggest lull we've been in a while. And I say lull not as a bad thing, just as everything has kind of panned out, if you will. Last Word's done, Crimson Days. You know, we're all kind of at the point now where we're hitting 650. If you haven't already, some of you for a while. Even I just did, you know, of course, a few resets ago. But we're waiting on Joker's Wild, which isn't too far out, so you know we're kind of getting yeah, we did. Yes,
did get a date. What is March 5th?
Yeah, 5th.
I don't remember where it was. I don't remember.
I think it's in the TWAB. I think it's in the TWAB.
Is it in the TWAB? I don't even think it's in the TWAB. I think they maybe.
I think they said it at the very end of the TWAB. I'm almost certain.
I think they tweet. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is. You're right.
Is it there? March 5th.
Yeah, all the way at the bottom. Anyways.
So, you know, we're kind of in that little period where we're kind of getting an idea of what this, at least for this year, this annual pass is going to feel like, right? And I'm okay with that. Like this nice.
This is typical ebb and flow for Destiny. Like,
yeah, but it's better than ever because I mean,
absolutely.
There's right because we've had
a ton of stuff to do.
A couple
like,
months. Yeah.
If you are a hobbyist, or if you're into like a specific niche part of the game, like there's things to do.
Yep.
I
have plenty to do on my to-do list
for months.
Yeah.
You know,
I've still got, I haven't gotten either the exotics from the Black Armory. I haven't gotten, we were just talking about it. There's plenty on my to-do list. I don't have Izanagi. Izanami? No, it's been so long. I'm confusing the two. Which one's the?
Izanagi is the gun.
There you go, Izanagi.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've looked at my quest. I'm at the point where I got to do the Shattered Throne.
Dude, I really like Izanagi too, for like really specific things, but I use it for stuff, and I love being able to like load up that super round for, okay, I need this one round to count, like really do some damage. It's really fun to do.
Yeah, I gotta finish that one off. So yeah, I mean, I have a full page of a Google Doc of like still stuff to do, but you know, it's like, it's nice to have this period where I can go in and do that, or I can play another game. As far as Crimson Days goes, it's definitely, I mean, I'm even a Crucible Guardian, and like, I don't feel super incentivized to do it. Like, I don't know what it is. It could just be that I'm like super into Spider-Man right now, and that's totally fine, right? I don't necessarily want to say it's Crimson Days being too bland.
Yeah, I don't want to totally say this event's terrible and there's no reason to play it, because there's interesting things about it. And
they did recycle a lot of the loot, but that's an opportunity to get.
I was okay with that because there's things that I didn't get last year because it is a short event.
And I did get the heart emote, by the way. Did you?
That's what I'm trying to get. I need.
Yes,
I've been getting engrams, and I'm assuming this is a knockout system, right? I don't think I've gotten any
so.
duplicates of anything. So
I think so.
I think there's maybe, out of all the things that I could get, I think there's only maybe like 7 or 8 things I don't have in the whole loot pool. So I'm hoping, worst case scenario, if I don't get it naturally by reset, then I might just buy like a 5-pack, and it should hopefully get me there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
which we did
$10,
get.
'cause I want
we
that
did get
emote.
a couple. We got a couple of those exclusive Eververse packages too, which nobody seems to be too bothered by them at this point. I think one of them gives you the little heart. You can only get them through Eververse, like kind of like that Iron Banner one emote back in the day. But one of them gives you the heart reticle on the Vow, I think.
On
the store.
The skin for it.
Yes. The skin.
Oh, that's cool. Yep. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 packages at Eververse. But I don't know, man. I might jump in a bit more. Crimson Doubles is fun. I had a good time. Played with Dirt Fam, you know, but it's interesting right now. There's kind of a take it easy period, which I've said it before. Like, I don't mind. Like, Destiny is my hobby game 100%.
Yeah,
but I definitely don't mind
a
little bit of a downtime to like do a little bit of something else before like new content drops.
Absolutely, especially when you play this game a lot. It's good to have some times when like there's some things going on, but you don't have to be on every single day of the reset where you can, okay, I can fit in another game. I can play games a little less. I can just jump on a couple nights a week with objectives in mind if I want, or just whatever it is, right? And then when the content comes in, you can jump back in full force and not feel burnt out on the game or disinterested because you've been spending too much time there, you know?
Right.
So you got to have a little bit of a slow period.
You do, and you do have to stay in tune though, because we were just talking before we went live. Like, I've needed to do like 13 strikes for the loaded question for the last month, and it's like, okay, I did have a lot of time. Now I probably need to start chipping away at that a little bit.
Well, and keep in mind as well, I'm pretty sure that you don't have to finish it before the season.
Oh, that's
right.
Now. That's right. I forget you've mentioned that on the show. I forget about that with those.
Somebody brought
I just
that
assumed,
same thing up last night. We were talking about it, and those quests, the season specific stuff now, like
that's right.
Once you start it, you can keep it active.
I'm still gonna say March 5th, but it's nice to know so that I get it done. I don't want it to roll over into the new stuff, but that's good though. That's good to know, because I was kind of like, okay, I mean, it's easy to do 13 strikes, but it's like I gotta log in, even if I did a couple a night
that you like,
put it at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's been for me. Like, I think I might need maybe around the same amount. I really wish that they would include Nightfalls towards that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't think that they
I don't know that I didn't know the answer to that, honestly, because I thought about farming some stuff for the Nightfall. Inventory. What I really hope they do with those is just like they did, and they made it a triumph for the Mountaintop, the PvP one. It would be nice if it was across all characters, because I would love to go jump on my Warlock and do it so that I could level my Warlock up.
I don't know why some of those were account specific and some of them weren't.
Mm-hmm. It'd just be nice it'd be a great opportunity to level your alts, right?
Right.
You have these pinnacle quests left to do, and your main's maxed out, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess so.
Anyways, I think they got that feedback early on, which we know the way they worked around that with the Mountaintop for the competitive playlist was they made it a triumph, didn't they? So that's how it, I think, goes across your characters. I don't know why. I don't know why because I
think they can make any quest or thing account wide if they want.
You'd hope so. I would think so, right?
Yeah.
They're making it. It'd just be nice if they would do that on the next one.
Yeah.
I want to play him a Warlock, right? But
yeah, you want to just be able to swap back and forth and play
my
whichever
Titan's
guy
like
you want.
decked out. Yeah.
Especially when there's like other things that you can do on those characters. Say you're doing Crucible or whatever, and I could jump on this guy and at least get them with the weekly done. with these 5 matches I'm about to play, but I'm still playing on the same guy, right? So
right. Yep.
I don't know.
There's a good balance there with everything. Yeah. Hard to keep an eye on all of that, I'm sure, but definitely a balance.
Well, Crimson Days is drawing to a close by the time you hear us here. Next up, probably the biggest news and the most divisive this week is about Trails of Brosiris.
Yes,
as it's actually called, Trials of Osiris / the Nine. So finally a word about Trials. A lot of folks have been wondering and waiting for when we would hear about Trials and when it would return. So I'll just read what they've got here. Ever since Trials of the Nine went on hiatus back in Season 4, many of you have been asking when it will come back and how it will be evolving. We still don't have a timeline for when it may return, but we do want to give you an update on our current thinking about Trials. Here is the team to fill you in. So they go on to say, Trials was released in May 2015 as the original high-stakes weekend PvP event. It had an amazing impact on the game and the community. It was a pinnacle venue for players to show off their best skills, strategies, and gear. The 3v3 elimination mode combined with the card system created the coveted reward of earning a trip to the lighthouse. Then, with Trials of the Nine Season or Destiny 2, they made a few changes that never really hit the same mark. They were unhappy with its role in the ecosystem. So, since both Destiny and online PvP seem to have evolved since 2015, they don't believe that bringing back the 2015 version of Trials would accomplish what our goals are today. Until we have a solid prototype for a pinnacle PvP in-game activity, Trials is staying on hiatus indefinitely. It will not return over the course of the next few seasons. When we have those new plans ready, we'll be sure to share them with you.
Dude. Reading this was such a roller coaster ride for us.
Yeah.
Hardcore Trials players.
It's rough, man. I can imagine.
I saw a post from I think it was a YouTube creator I watch regularly, and it said something about Trials news, and I was like, no way. Like it was one of those Thursdays where I forgot it was Thursday, just with everything going on.
Yeah.
And I saw that pop up before I even realized it was the TWAB. I'm like, why do we get Trials news? Is this just some kind of like, what is this? And then I realized it was TWAB day, and I go read this, and I'm like, what? So it's so like mixed emotions, man, because the first paragraph, they just build up and talk about how big of an impact and how awesome and how big of a part of the game the 3v3 elimination version in May of 2015 of Trials was so big for the game. And then they go on to say, of course, as many already felt this way, it kind of didn't feel that way when it launched with Destiny 2, Trials of the Nine. And then you're like, okay, well, they built okay, what are they going to say? Who are they? And then they're like, yeah, it's like not coming back for a while. So it's like, what is happening? And
this post was basically a version of being like, Trials of the Nine. From what we can gather, they've gathered.
Dude,
did you just Zavala troll me?
There's key words in here too, man. Like I have to remember. There's such a key word in here. Obviously, at the end they say hiatus indefinitely, and it won't return over the course of the next few seasons. Yep. And I mean, seasons, as we know, are 3 months, dude.
In case you're not realizing this, because I had a discussion about my wife about what a couple, few, and many mean.
Few is at least
we
3.
Have different definitions, right? Couple's 2. Yes. Few is at least 3. Many at is least 4 or more.
Yes. And it's like, okay, that is the rest of the annual pass. I mean, it's basically what you said many episodes ago.
Optimistic scenario that even outside of what they're saying here that's possible is that fall would be your most optimistic scenario and probably unlikely there.
Mm-hmm. It's
it
so
really
strange
seems to me as if and this is what they're saying. We don't know what Trials should be.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically going to give you something that isn't going to fit in what online PvP should be, as a competitive scene, right?
And there's so much to unpack, dude.
That they have to keep up with. I mean, we talked about this. There's a lot of competition in the PvP world, you know, beyond just like a trials mode. You know, BRs are the biggest thing ever.
It was a different gaming climate back in May 2015, right?
Yep.
Dude, and there is so much to unpack here. Like the first thing I wanted to talk about here is, you know, the feedback that they've gotten on this has been pretty heavy, obviously, from the PvP community, because there's a lot of Guardians out there that are asking for just bring back 3v3 elimination and let us have that until you figure out what you want to do. And part of it, well, first, before we even get to that, is the transparency and the communication, right? Like they were getting hit for being transparent here because they weren't transparent enough. People, I saw in my feeds, people were frustrated because they said it doesn't meet their goals and they don't talk about what their goals are. And I totally understand that frustration, but it's like a catch-20.
I see that.
Right.
Point.
But it's so hard. I try to look at everything objectively, right? And yes, of course I want goals. Like Trials of Osiris is my favorite thing in Destiny ever since it launched. I played almost every weekend, looked for it. I mean, like this hurts me, man. Like I just want to play. And I sit here and at points I'm on board with bring back 3v3. And then at other points I'm like, well, you know, you don't want them to bring back something that's not going to stick or not going to be great. Right. And then you got to say like, okay, obviously they've, as far as the transparency and the communication goes, they obviously saw this coming up. They know another season's coming. They told us we were going to get it at the beginning of this season originally.
They want
right?
Soften
nip
the blow,
that in the
right?
butt.
You
quick.
don't want anybody waiting with bated breath and then Trials not show up.
Right. So like they knew they were probably going to get
Trials
hit
of the Drifter. Sorry.
Right. They knew they were going to get hit either way, you know, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like they really do when it comes to PvP and competitive, just the overall PvP environment right now. We haven't gotten a lot of communication on it, right? And I think that's where the PvP community is coming from. The comms have still been excellent. The TWABs have been great. The breakdowns, the clan information, like they're still talking to us. But I think some of the frustration is they haven't been talking to us a lot about the PvP overall, and especially the end game. And of course, especially Trials. So it's like, I don't want to knock them for not being transparent enough because they didn't have to say anything. But they're basically being honest with us like we want them to be. And they're like, guys, we don't know what we want Trials to be. We hear it from you and we know you want like the original game mode back, but there's so much that goes into that, right? And you hit on it big time. It's like, not only do they have to, I slept on it after this came out and then I tweeted out a thread and it's like, not only do they have to think about the fun factor, the loot, the competitiveness, the replayability, how they engage the current player base that's playing Destiny, the PvP community, and not PvP community, right? They want people to have a reason to play that don't normally play PvP.
Yeah.
And then they also have to think about overall interest and then industry competitors, like you said. So releasing an in-game PvP scene mode activity right now, like they don't want, you can see where they don't want to release a half-baked thing that people play for a month worth of weekends and then they're done with it. They go back and they play Apex.
Just drop elimination in, you know?
Right.
I mean, it would be a poor demonstration of content. It would be a poor value for them to just say, okay, here's Trials of the 9 back. It's 3v3 now. Everything else is the same. Here's a new armor set and some new weapons, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and I think a lot of people would think that they would settle for that and be like, yeah, that's fine. Just give me the ability to do that.
And the follow-up question is how long would you really play it, right?
Yeah, how long would you? And if people aren't engaged, like if it's not interesting enough content, if it's not different enough, if it's not engaging enough, the player population is going to be low and you're not going to have great experiences. It's going to be similar to a lot of the complaints people have in comp right now when the rewards aren't there, the comp population's low. There's long matchmaking times because you can't get in games, et cetera, et cetera. Like, Bungie is not the company that's going to do things half-ass. And this is them saying, we're not going to half-ass this. Even if we don't know exactly what this mode needs to be for you, we're not going to do it. We're not going to give you a consolation prize of just dropping 3v3 elimination in and call that an event. Like,
it's just not the way they do things, right? So,
and
like you said,
that would be a significant amount of resources that could be spent on doing something unique and proper at the right time. And my hope is, if the resources that they might have spent on a mode like Trials are going to be spent, on some other modes, or improving competitive, providing some better reward systems, and helping build the population there so those players have something to engage in, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because we're talking about a few seasons of no central event. There's no like end game PvP event besides competitive, and
I think that is where it hurts. Like, I don't want to minimize it at all, because part of me, I think I was watching Cammy Cake's video this week, and he used a phrase I've heard before, obviously, but it really fit in here, and it made me, I said I went back and forth with the 3v3 elimination thing, and he said fan service, right? Like, if it would be nice in a world where it wouldn't take a lot of resources for them just to launch a 3v3 elimination mode for us to play until they figure out what they want to do, because we know that the PvE numbers, they've always been larger than the PvP numbers, correct? Like, the PvP community is large. I'm talking about overall Destiny players. Like, there's definitely a base of PvP players, but it's always been higher on the PvE side, correct? Right?
I don't know if I could say always.
Most of the time, right? We've had this conversation with
day
Blue
of the
and
week, but I would say if you looked at like overall numbers, probably.
So, but it's not to say that there's a massive amount of Guardians who play PvP, enjoy PvP, but we've also mentioned, with all the stuff in the industry competitors right now, like Anthem and the Division's coming out. Like, it seems as though, they're focusing on the power fantasy, like we've talked about. And I've seen other content creators kind of mention that as well too. They want it to be fun to be a Guardian on the PvE side of the game. Not to say they don't want it to be fun on the PvP side. I even got to say, like, the meta right now is pretty fun. Like, it's a pretty good time in the Crucible right now, and I would love to try it out in Trials. Something about Trials, dude. That's why I go back and forth, where I'm like, it would be fun if they would just drop 3v3 elimination just for a little while. But, they can't just do that, because there's the lore, there's all that stuff, right, that they have to consider. But if they did,
it wouldn't hurt for them just to drop it as
even just elimination, drop elimination.
Yeah, I'm thinking if they could at the very least, like, just put elimination in the game as a rotating mode, as an available mode, maybe even in the comp playlist as one of the. What did elimination do to Bungie?
I've thought about this. So I've thought about so much this week, because they say when they introduced Trials of the Nine in Destiny 2, they made a few changes to the formula. Is what they say. And they were unhappy with where it was in the ecosystem. Dude, they changed the whole weapon system. They took out elimination, and they gave us survival and countdown. I'm not knocking that at all. They tried something new. It was fantastic. You can't, I would push aside.
They changed everything but the window dressing.
They even changed the name. Yeah, I don't want to minimize or push aside the achievement of what they did with the sandbox. Like, the balance we had, and they gave us primary fights. Like, it was amazing. But it just, as we know, Destiny players figured out that that's not really what they wanted, even though we all thought that's what we wanted, and they thought that's what they wanted. Like, I've said it how many times on the show now. Like, when I say we, the Bungie team and the community, like, we have figured out what we want out of Destiny over these last many years, and we've really hit on it. Like, we're in the sweet spot now, right? So it's like they didn't just drop 3v3 in and it didn't work out. Like, it wasn't as popular. They changed everything. So it's like, that's where I kind of see the opinion of, man, you give us 3v3 elimination, like, and then I go back and watch some montages and stuff, dude, and I see like 3v1s people are pulling off, and I remember doing those back in the day, and it's like, dude, that was so fun. Weekend after weekend after weekend, something was there, dude. Something magical was there. Now, you roll right back into the conversation of like, would it stick though right now when Apex is getting 25 million players in 7 days time? Like, would it stick? But the thing is, at some point you have to try. Now, you don't, again, want a half-baked idea. If you're stuck on getting the old mode, that's cool. I even have those moments where I'm like, man, I would just love to play that right now. But, you know, it's like, it's not that they're not listening. They just,
I think that's part of the problem, right? You can't even go back and play it in Destiny 1.
Right.
Totally.
There's no option
out of Destiny 2. Like there's not even a consignment prize here. You know, there's competitive playlists, but that's nothing like it.
Right.
And I think people would, it'd be akin to not being able to go play any raid that I wanted right now. Right. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to go play Vault of Glass right now, I could do it. But imagine if they just pulled that out. They're like, raids, they've evolved so much. Dude, and,
can I say one thing too?
Just wasn't,
I want to get your opinion.
Then, but, we had to retire it. And so sorry. I would
like
lose
we're
my
done
mind.
with it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I thought about this week too. I think I had it like a portion of it in my thread. So I asked you about like the population of PvE versus PvP, and I'm like, one of the points is that not a lot of Guardians played Trials. It was just too competitive. And at one point, we had bounties where it did get some other Guardians in because you just had to play to
I don't
complete
even think
the bounty.
Though,
that was cool.
It wasn't that it was
let me
too
ask
competitive.
You though.
It wasn't.
Let me ask you though.
It wasn't.
How is it any
fun.
different than? How is it any different than raids? How is Trials? There's always been raids, right? So there's never been a large percentage of Guardians that run the raids, right? That's as far as we've ever seen the numbers.
It's definitely it's like single low double digits that run raids.
So I guess my point is you can't, even though I've kind of done it myself a little bit in my thinking about this over the week, you can't lean on the numbers because it doesn't make sense. Then there wouldn't be raids, right? Like not everything's accessible for everybody.
I think that there's a part of it that is data driven, and then there's a part of it that is what Bungie has a reputation, right? I'm not trying to like say something too specific like about this, but they're known for their PvP content, and like it or not, like they almost have to have it in the game, and people are going to look really close at what they do. Players in that community are extremely vocal. They have a lot of, what's the right word here? They have a lot of attention on them, like, let's say MLG, professional PvP players, professional streamers, like they have a lot of influence. And so those people that play those modes in those modes are going to be heavily scrutinized. So if they don't do it right, like it means a lot for the game, and it means a lot for its sales, and it means a lot for its reputation. And so it almost seems like the opposite, that Bungie is putting it on the back burner because it's not important. But I think the opposite is actually true. Like,
I think you're right. Yeah.
They're putting it on the back burner because it's so important that if they don't do it well, it could really hurt the game as a whole. Because like it or not, like, let's say that pie in the sky number, 20% of Destiny players play PvP. Like it or not, like that sells a lot of games, and that sells a lot of like eyeballs on Twitch.
Oh yeah, dude, big time. And it helps with content drops as well for a lot of Guardians.
Has a lot to do with sales and marketing, and if if Destiny gets perceived as having, a bad PvP experience, Heck, it might have that now. I mean, I think we're already past that with Destiny 2 launch. Like, you see how much that hurt the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people still are talking trash about Destiny 2 is a dead game because of Destiny 2 PvP. Even though it's, you know, it's come such a long way and the game's so fun now and maybe some of the most fun it's ever been. Like, you can't undo what happened there. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important that whatever they do next, they got to get it right. It's got to be done really well. It's got to be done in a big scale. Like, they have to launch something and it's got to be monumentous, you know,
right?
To get attention, to get eyeballs, and to get population in the Crucible, it's going to have to be something cool. And
yeah,
so I think that they're making the decision they got to make. I don't think for a minute Bungie wants to not have something out there, you know? I think
I agree.
Every member of the staff, you know, every leader at Bungie probably
you got to think about who's on that
we
team,
had
right?
Like an awesome, engaging Crucible Trials that we could play right now. You know,
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of talented people there, period. But you got to think about who's on that sandbox team, right, and what they've done over their careers. And yeah, I would definitely say, without a doubt, they're invested in the PvP sandbox experience, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You know, I think this hit a lot of people different ways, and the transparency criticism and the kind of out of nowhere, like, hey, we thought you were working on this, and now you're kind of basically telling us like you really don't know yet where you want to take it. I think what's important, their intentions were good here. They're just trying to be transparent, let us know it's not coming this season, and they want it to be awesome when it comes back, like you just said. And I fully respect that. I think it is important going forward, though, you know, that focus is like, the focus is obviously going on behind the scenes, and they have so much to think about, dude. Like, I think I tweeted out too, like, Destiny isn't just one fun thing, dude. It's many fun things, and they have so much to think about with this game, and to keep in touch with the community. And I'm not like throwing them any, you know, whatever here. I'm just saying there's a lot to think about and a lot going on, but I do want to see them. I would like to see them focus on PvP and definitely, of course, PvP end game. I would like to see them focus on that more. Talk about the competitive playlist. Talk about their goals, not necessarily just with trials, but with PvP. We've seen a lot of focus on PvE recently, and I think maybe that's where it rubbed the PvP community a little bit more rough, we'll say, than maybe some other things. So, well, I don't know, man.
I know some of the feedback as well has been, you know, okay, well, if there's not going to be trials, what are you going to do now for PvP? Because there's certainly people that are not happy with the state the competitive
it's always the unknown, right?
In. Right.
Yeah.
And to that, I say at the minimum, just let's wait until this season, right? I mean, we have a season literally just a few weeks away. And we're going to find out. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some kind of plan for content there for the competitive playlist. And at the very least, you know, let's say they change nothing but that. My hope is that they see, you know, what happened this season, and they do some things a little better this season. And maybe that will improve that experience for those that are invested in that. If not, I'll totally get their ire. You know?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, the Bungie team, it's been a good long while now since they told us they would improve on their communications, and they have, dude. Like, so again, their intentions were there before, but ever since they said that 2 Novembers ago, I'm pretty sure it was 2 Novembers ago, they were like, we're gonna do better at talking with you guys, and they have 100% done that. And I think their intentions were good here. Like, that's what they were doing. It's just sometimes it's not the news you want to hear, and you've got to step back and look at it objectively and try to talk it out like you and I are doing with your buddies, and look at the bigger picture and know, like, they just like the game itself, they want it to do well. They want their, like you said, to be a great PvP experience. I think what's most important is we as the community, like we focus on that, work with them like we have with other things, and let's figure out what we want the PvP end game to be. Provide that constructive feedback, right?
Yeah.
So it's all part of the process.
I would keep in mind as well, if you're not hearing what it is that you think needs to be said, or something is not being communicated about the game, it's either because there's nothing to say, or there's nothing good to say, or there's something that they like to say but they can't say it yet, right?
Right.
And
exactly.
Sometimes there's intentions crafted and plans, and they have to at least make sure that they can accomplish what they think the plan should be. Like, they don't just sit in a room and they're like, okay, so we're going to launch this mode in December. All right, cool. Let's go do it. Hey guys, we're launching blah, blah in December. If they did that every time that they sat in that room and made those decisions, then nobody would ever believe anything they say, because half the stuff never happens.
Would never make it to it. Yeah.
Sometimes things get thrown in the trash in design. Sometimes things evolve so much during design that it's unrecognizable by the time they figure out what it is. Gambit as a great example. So sometimes they got to get it to a point with a plan where they know, okay, we can execute this. This feels good. We've tested it some. This is gonna go well. And here's the launch for it. We think we can hit the launch, and then they can at least say, all right, guys, so here's the rough cut. So if you're not hearing what you want about the Crucible or competitive or this or that, like, keep in mind, sometimes the ink's not dry.
Right.
And then it could very well be the case that they're looking at and saying, man, a lot of this isn't working. We got to go back to the drawing board. Mm-hmm. We need a little time.
It could have been an idea or two, and they scrapped it, right? Because it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's important that you provide your feedback, right? That's what we have to do, and a lot of you PvP Guardians have done that this last reset since this news. Hopefully constructively, and we all work together. Let's work with them. Let's figure out what we want it to be. I think with the way they communicate things these days and the way they keep an open dialogue with us, like, they've gotten the feedback on this little tidbit that they were just trying to be transparent about. They're probably going to follow up with not necessarily trials news, but I feel like maybe some focus on PvP might be following this a little bit, because they knew it was there, but the passion from the PvP community this week. So, I don't know, man. We figured we'd spend a lot of time on this, but I hope one day I am a trials player. I hope one day to be playing some trials again, or at least
I do too. I mean, gosh,
PvP in game. Like,
at this point, I would love to be playing some trials too.
Yeah.
I miss,
and like you
Destiny
said,
1 trials. I do.
Oh, dude, I watched some montages this week of some people in the community and stuff, and every now and then going back and looking at my old stuff. Something about that 3v3 elimination, dude. It just works so great, at least for when it was out and when we played it. I don't know how it would land in the ecosystem now of the gaming industry, but of course you miss what was fun back in the day, and they know it was fun and they know it was good, and they want to create an experience that feels that same way, right? And I mean, they're the ones making the game, and they got to take in all this feedback from us and try to make those experiences come to life. So I'll be patient, man. I'll be patient.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's like, at least, like you said, like the most optimistic look is the fall.
It's rough.
That's okay.
It's rough.
We got plenty of content.
I get it. Hang in there, boys. We've been through worse.
Guardians.
We can do this.
Yeah, that's the thing. We hinted at the unknown. I think that's where we're sitting right now. I feel like we're gonna get more information after this, but
here's the thing:
way back in the day, dude.
Now, like at this juncture in time, there are some much bigger questions about what's ahead than we've ever had before in this game. Not trying to be dramatic, but there's some big what ifs that we are going to have to see answered in basically the next 5-6 months. About what the future really looks like with
I mean, they got a lot on their plate right now, right?
There's a lot, dude.
there's a lot of
that
like
they have
some
to
of
figure
the
out right now.
games journalists and stuff like that I listen to and follow, like they find it to take on being your own publisher. Like a lot of the similar things that I've heard is like people really think it would make sense if they partnered with someone else for the publisher aspect, because to take that on is just massive. Now, obviously, they have different teams.
Here's why I think especially that Bungie decided that this was the time to do it, because they had already decided and set the wheels in motion to self-publish their next title, right? So Bungie was setting up their publishing division. Like we already know they have another business office, across the street from where they're at. It's likely either, for their other IP or literally like a publishing arm, Bungie Publishing, whatever it's going to be. So it makes a lot more sense for Bungie to self-publish, Destiny as well as their new IP, like financially and just in terms of like, I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well be all in,
Right.
And it's going to, long term, it's going to mean huge things for Bungie as a developer, but also for the games that they manage. And, so they're just basically deciding, well, we're already biting off a big piece of meat. Like we might as well just start working on it now,
Yeah. Well, think about too, like if and when they launch Destiny 3, it's like, hey guys, it's Bungie. We're back. It's our IP.
Yeah.
Check out Destiny 3.
As well, I almost forgot about this to put this in the news this week, but Activision had its earnings call. This is probably one of the last times that we get to talk about this in a long time. Yep. What I was digging for, and I didn't go through all the call and all the press release and everything. What I was looking for was how much Bungie paid. But what I was able to gather was, yes, in fact, because some questions were asked, they did in fact purchase the rights back from Activision. This was not a free deal. And what was interesting and shocking to me was how quickly it happened. Apparently a timeline was given that Bungie decided and approached Activision back in November. And this is right after Activision's previous earnings call. If you remember when we were talking about, Activision having been unhappy with sales of Forsaken, explained that they were going to look into further monetization in Destiny to make up for what they believe they should be making, and et cetera. And people were like, "Oh God!"
That's when you had a tweet
what
from
is that
Luke
going to
Smith
be?
saying
Right,
they were happy with Forsaken. Yeah,
and that seems to be the critical moment at which Bungie said, "Hey, why don't we see if we can have our property?" And so they approached Activision with this idea. Both parties seemed to be keen on it, seemed to like it. And a deal was done by December. I mean, moved pretty quick, man. Like, kind of amazing to me. So, anyways.
Yeah, plus, there's a lot going on there with Activision too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and
oh man,
we wish well to a bunch of employees.
800
a
layoffs,
bunch of people.
Mostly in their publishing division. That's the whole thing. But you know what? We don't have to talk about Activision news anymore. So
Activision is
this is hopefully, knock on wood, is the last time we need to talk about Activision for a while now. Mm-hmm. So nothing against them. I mean,
maybe some of
they
those
brought us
talented
Destiny, but
publishers will go work for Bungie.
There you go. I mean, it's a great opportunity for Bungie to pick up some key people if they are, they were letting people, I also heard they were laying off people from High Moon as well.
Yeah, it stinks.
They've done a lot of, they did the Tangled Shore work as part of Forsaken. They do, from what I understand, they do a lot of other like art related and world art and environmental stuff. I don't think that they've had like a full blown the reins on a particular expansion though. They've just worked on particular aspects of expansions from what I understand so far. But
yeah, I think so.
VV is still, I think, over Penumbra that we're going to see in the summer. Yep. So interesting how that's going to play out.
All very interesting. Well,
but anyways, all that being said, let's go back.
You guys have to let us know what you think.
Let's go back to the TWAB here. Now that Trials news is behind us, everybody take a breath, relax. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
In other PvP news, not Crimson Days. Iron Banner will be back next reset. This will be the final Iron Banner for Season of the Forge, as well as your last chance to collect the Iron Fellowship armor set before this vendor is refreshed next season. The Criminal's Dagger, Hand Cannon, and Hero's Burden SMG will continue to be available next season as post-match drops and rewards from Saladin. Looks like we've got the Scout and the Grenade Launcher as featured weapons in his inventory this coming week. Runs February 19th through the 26th. Make sure you turn in all your completed bounties before the end of the season, or they will be removed from your inventory. But you do get to keep your Iron Banner tokens.
There you go.
Iron Banner. I might play some this week.
Yeah, I may as well. Actually, I was thinking for some reason that was the Pulse, but it's not. The Pulse is pretty potent if you get a good roll on it, but that is not the Pulse. It is
correct.
The Scout. Yeah.
Next up over in Destiny Player Support, they talked a little bit about some clarifications on the Crimson Days playlist. Of course, that's mostly behind us now, so I won't bore you with that. They do, however, have a conversation on player impacting issues expected to be resolved with update 2.2.0 in early March. Some of these include issues with Black Armory key molds, streaming city chests, the Obsidian Accelerator, on and on, different triumphs, character boost completion rewards, base 2D2 Crucible rewards, collection counters, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they get that fix for the guitar error that they're hoping to get into this patch for Last Wish. We'll see about that. Exciting to hear about a new patch. Always love another patch coming.
Way more frequent than they used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Yep.
If we can at least get one, we get a couple every season. I mean, that's pretty consistent progress. We're not getting a sandbox like total refresh every season, but I mean, we just got, one that's been great. So, man, that new Goldie, Top Tree Goldie.
Oh yeah.
Super fun, dude. I've even been using it on my Hunter and PvE stuff. It's really fun just being able to like try to get all 12 of those shots. I'm like, don't kill anybody. I'm going to get them all.
Let me get them.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Finally, in Movie of the Week, people making me feel really bad about how bad I am at Destiny. A player completes the Shattered Throne, not only solo, but flawless with no HUD. Please excuse yourself out of my general vicinity, sir. I don't want to know that people can do these things. I watched some of this video. It's just disgusting.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, I should give them props. I mean, good
disgustingly
golly.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just there's people that play this game that make me realize how terrible I really am. Like anytime I actually start feeling good at this game, I see what other people can do, and I'm like, yeah, I suck.
No, you do not suck.
I'm reasonably competent.
It's Crimson Days. I can't let you.
All right.
Feel bad
no, I'm
yourself.
not trying to. I don't feel bad about it. I'm just being realistic. Then a pretty cool montage, PvP montage titled Rise from user CKZev. That's worth checking out.
It's a great thumbnail.
finally, to wrap it up, they do announce Season of the Drifter arrives on March 5th. One of my buddies pointed out as well, I didn't even think about this, but the pattern so far with the seasons has been the season starts, and then the following week, the annual pass content starts.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I've liked the way that has kind of laid out. Gives
It's like
you
that off week where stuff's a little
lets you explore things and like see the other just season related content before you have like a whole bunch of new annual pass content to chew up. So
yes, and I was thinking it was gonna launch the second week, but you're right, it is still the same thing. It'll be March 5th and that off week, and then the next week will be
like the 12th, I think.
Probably. Yeah,
the 12th. So
that's what we were kind of
So be ready, Guardians, for March Madness with the Drifter.
Cyborg.
Yeah, sorry.
You're not tired anymore.
No. That's the news this week. I think that's all.
That's all of it.
That's all we got.
Oh man, I knew we were going to talk about Trials for a while, but I did not think it was going to be 45 minutes.
I knew it would be. I'll give you a couple reminders if you like to get Bungie stuff. There's some new Bungie stuff up in the Bungie store. Beyond the Bungie rewards stuff, there was a pin for the sugary shell that you could buy if you're into buying the pins. There is a new 3A figure, which these are like the really nice, statues almost. It is a Titan, and it is a Bungie store exclusive, and he looks pretty dope. It's a Mercury Vex shader type thingy-majiggy. I don't know. This is a pretty awesome Destiny 2 armor set, and it even comes with a Sentinel shield. That's awesome.
Keep us updated on our Destiny swag.
Yes, and then there's also a Series 2 of the Armory collectible pins that's got some great guns in there. My favorite Bay, Polaris Lance, Hardlight, Jade Rabbit, some other cool guns in there. And then what else was there that I wanted to mention? Oh yeah, just some reminders with Bungie rewards. If you want to pick up that Last Word replica and the t-shirt, you've got to claim your code and purchase the item by March 5th, which is just a couple of weeks away. So make sure you complete that quest and grab that before it's too late. And then if you have any titles, you need to collect the code to purchase the seal collectible medallion pins for most of these by March 31st. So you still got some time. I think all of them except for Unbroken and Chronicler, you've got to get by that date. So just
I've got a few things to get.
Just saying, don't want to be caught. Oh man, I didn't buy the thing. It's too late. I'm sad.
Yeah, I've got to make a decision on what I want to get. I'm definitely probably going to get something.
Just as a info, I bought my Last Word replica tonight because I was looking at that. I was like, I better get this now before I forget. $70-something after shipping.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, tax and shipping, $70-some bucks. I think it was 74. 73. It was rough.
I didn't think it would be that much.
The shipping was about like $14, and then the tax was like $3, and then the item's $55. Ain't cheap, but
there's that.
Gotta have that last word, buddy. Because I don't have what was it, $1,200 for the.
Oh right, yeah, or the other one.
Nope, don't have that.
Good alternative there.
Yep. Anyways, AER0KNIGHT. How was your reset?
Oh, 2 in one episode, and it's not me doing it? What is going on tonight? You're just wild and crazy,
Careful,
Cyborg.
I might give you a third.
Pauses. My reset, man. All right, I already told you guys I got the vow. I haven't played a ton of Crimson Days. I'm going to try and fit in some more before resets. I did enjoy Crimson Doubles. It was fun. I do like I mentioned, just some good old-fashioned doubles. But it's always good to be able to do a little 2v2. So I got the vow. That was, like I said, didn't take very long. But it was a good time. I'm glad to have it. Anytime I can pick up a new bow. Plus it's curated and 650. And it's got some pretty decent roll on it.
Which,
I
by
just
the
gotta
way,
get used to it.
forgive me if I falsely advertised the capabilities of the Val last week. Watching the GIF, I surmised that it could possibly be a one-hit kill
One tap.
precision.
Yeah.
Does not seem to be the case. Not sure what buffs or what things were applied. I'm sure it was probably, Last Guardian standing with this buff and that. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's definitely usually always 2 crits to kill, but bows are great if you play them this way. This is the way I just kind of, No Land Beyond got me so used to high damage first initial crit shot weapons.
Yeah.
So like if you can get that crit shot and then just whip out a hand cannon and clean up or anything,
Last
really,
Word is perfect for, right?
They're great. Yeah, like peak shoot. It's so Last Word exactly. And that thing has unbelievable range from the hip now. It's like yeah, like ADS used to be where you got your range on that gun, but that's where a lot of Guardians are saying the recoil feels different. Man, I went back and looked at my clips. I think I remember. Maybe I mentioned that last week. I'm just shooting from the hip, and it feels so good, and the range is surprising from the hip. So yeah, definitely bow, and then clean up with the Last Word. It's pretty satisfying. But anyways, it is. Yeah, and I'm gonna start using my bows more, I think, now, especially with the Last Word, like I said. But so that got the Vow. Might squeeze in some more Crimson Doubles before reset, but I running a few strikes, trying to finish up Loaded Question. Like I mentioned, I think I've got, I don't know, a little more than 10 or something to do to finish that up, because I do want that. And as you mentioned, I don't have to, but I'm still going to try, I think. And then I did beat Spider-Man this reset. So yeah, dude, I finished that off. That was a longer campaign than I thought it was going to be. It was super fun. There's a lot that happens in the initial story. Of course, Spider-Man-y stuff many might be able to predict, but it was a good time. Yeah, and I tweeted out and asked everybody if I should play among my 15 games on my shelf, if I should play God of War, Tomb Raider, the latest Tomb Raider, or Red Dead next. And then I threw down there Spider-Man DLC. I just couldn't decide if I wanted to roll right into the Spider-Man DLC or play a whole new game, because you don't want to burn yourself out. But I'm like, dude, I'm already fully invested in Spider-Man. So I decided just to buy the 3 DLC pack, like The City That Never Sleeps or something, and go ahead and play that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to move to
just knock it out, right?
Yeah, I'm going to knock it out.
You're going to be a lot less likely to go back to it later.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's
wait, out of the other, what were the options? You had Red Dead,
God of War, Tomb Raider, and Red Dead.
Raider.
Yeah.
Man, even though
everybody said God of War,
even
like
though I
50%.
love Red Dead, dude, you really need to play God of War. Like, it's
you
such
beat
a
it, right?
special game.
You beat it?
Actually, like, I'm at the very end, and I'm guilty that I need to go finish it.
Need to finish it up.
But
well, dude,
I
that's the thing is
every bit of what I played.
I can't decide. Like, I haven't watched a whole lot on the game, but all I've heard since it released that it was amazing. Like, just an experience you have to experience if you play video games. And for some reason, you're just in different moods with games. I'm not like fully into like the like gritty, gory like mood for a game right now, but I feel like that game, if I start it, I'll be happy that I did.
It doesn't feel too heavy. It has moments of levity, like it's a little up and down. It's not 24/7 like dark, brutal, gritty. I mean, the combat is very kinetic, and there is some stuff that's a little gory and a little scary sometimes, but it's not every moment,
Right, yeah. It's weird because, I mean, those games obviously are fun, but it's like for some reason right now, that's I think why Spider-Man has just been so fun. Like, it's exactly what I was in the mood for right now. Right, yeah. And so maybe it would be a good transition into God of War. I started to lean towards Red Dead. I loaded it up to see where I was at, and I know it's a massive game, and that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, maybe I'll wait before I start this again. But I'm really in the mood to like just get lost in a world and go fishing and stuff.
Yeah, the reason I would say God of War is because not only because the story and the storytelling is so great, but the combat is really fun, and that's what kept.
I hear the axe is awesome.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't finish it is because there's a lot of optional combat. Like, there's optional harder bosses and enemies and encounters that you can do. And I got so caught up like going through and playing all that because it was so fun.
Yeah.
That I was doing that, you know, before I would finish the story because I wanted to clear all that stuff, and I was having such a good time doing it. So I would steer you that way, man. And Red Dead will be there.
I think I may just
Red
have to
Dead's
load up God of War.
I'm serious, man. This is an investment, dude. Like if it gets its hooks in you, you can be on it for a while.
Well, yeah, it's gonna take a while. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not gonna be like Spider-Man where I beat it even in the little play sessions in a month.
Same length as like what you spent on Spider-Man.
Yeah. Might be nice to knock out a couple games before I dive into Red Dead. Spider-Man, the only thing about Spider-Man is I jumped into these DLCs, and I really was thinking about 100%ing Spider-Man. I think I'm like 83, 84% now. And it, of course, has all kinds of stuff around New York City that you can go pick up, do collectibles, stuff to pick up. And like when you, in the main campaign, you have a lot of different stuff you can do in the little, like the different portions of the city and or districts or whatever. But when I bought the DLC, I went into the game. You know, normally you're like, okay, when's something going to pop up on your screen? So I had to Google it. I'm like, how do I start the DLC in Spider-Man? And it's like, oh, you go to your menu, you go to the DLC, and then you drop down and select the DLC. You literally like change campaigns.
Oh,
like
interesting.
You click on it and it loads
so it
into
just, like naturally just kind of, it's not just there when you load into your game.
No, it's not there. But the thing is like now when I go in, it says I'm 30% complete with the first DLC. And so it's like straight up separate things, and there's 3 different DLCs that I'm gonna have to switch between. The only thing, and I'll see if it still pans out this way, when you load into that campaign, all the extra stuff on the map and the different districts, it goes away, and you now have like 4 or 5 new things related to the DLC to go do. And I'm like, dude, I didn't want that. Like I wanted to do the DLC and still work as I'm going waypoint to waypoint, work on my other stuff. Yeah. So unless something's going to change, because it does show like the 2 main collectibles that you get, but it doesn't show any of the other stuff. So I'm like, that kind of stinks. That's such a weird way to do it. Like, it's weird that they did it that way. Maybe it'll change as I get through this first DLC pack, but I don't think so. It seems like it's 2 totally separate like instances of the city.
Interesting.
Like if I want to go do the other, I have to swap back to the main campaign.
That sucks.
And load into it. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
I thought that was a little weird. But overall, though, Insomniac knocked it out of the park, dude. Like I'm like, Spider-Man's not my favorite superhero. I do, of course, enjoy Spider-Man, but like I'm even more of a Spider-Man fan than before. Like it's so fun. But I'm gonna play this DLC, and I kind of took the last 2 resets. I still play Destiny, but not as much as normal. And now it's funny how Destiny, like you can tell you love Destiny because I want to play Destiny like this reset. I want to jump back in the menu. Like I just want to get my loadout going and go finish load of question and stuff, jump in the Crucible. So it's funny. It's nice to take, a couple of resets, step back a little bit, maybe play it a little bit less if you're feeling something else, and then come back. It makes you appreciate it, right? So I think I'm going to fit in probably the DLC. It'll be nice because it's not the full-blown game, and then sprinkling back to my normal amount of Destiny. So anyways, man, What have you been up to?
Oh, man. All over the place this week. So I can't talk about it a lot in depth, but those who have played it, I completed the main story to Red Dead. There is an epilogue, but the main campaign is completed, and oh my goodness, I don't know if there is only a few instances that I've ever been so emotionally invested and moved by like a finale like this.
Did you beat the first Red Dead? Or
I've never
Red Dead
even
Redemption?
Played it.
Really?
And
okay, because a lot of people, I beat it, and a lot of people really liked the ending of that one.
Yeah, I know
what
all
happens
about it.
At the very
I
end
know
of that
the whole story.
Yeah.
I mean, I
how it
knew
relates
about
to your character.
Red Dead 2 was even announced. Like I knew what the story was, what happened, because I have several friends who were in love with it and would tell tales, and I was like, well, let me look into this game, and so I knew the whole thing. And my gosh, man, this game like is such a work of art in so many ways. And I still I'm still thinking about moments in the game and what it meant and what happened. And I don't think I've ever felt so attached to a video game character, like emotionally.
Nice.
Like there's a lot of
cool.
characters you love, you know, and they're like iconic, like, you know, I love Solid Snake, right? And I love Mario, and you like there's these characters that you get attached to because you see them over and over and they just mean so much. But Arthur Morgan, I have such emotional attachment to this character after playing as him as for 120 plus hours.
Yeah,
and what you go through in the story of the game and just the journey that you take as this character, man, I don't know. It's an experience.
And you're telling me to play God of War. No.
I know, but it's gonna
so many good games, man.
But God of War is so special too. Like those are two games that I think totally define a period.
This generation.
Yeah, I mean, like nothing else. So anyways, I completed that, and you know, Metro was came out this Friday, and I really wanted to put Red Dead down before I picked that up. But then I started the epilogue, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the epilogue. I knew I wanted to play it, but now I'm playing it, and I'm like super into it. But then Metro came out, and I'm like, oh God, what do I play? So I've played a little bit of both this week. I started Metro and kind of cracking into that. I'm not 100% on how I feel about it yet. I'll come back, let you know what I think. But those are the other two things I've been sinking my teeth into. And then this week in Destiny, since this is a Destiny podcast.
It's that time where we're fitting in other games.
Yeah, yeah. I was telling you before the show, you know, I'm chasing lots of different things for titles. So what I actually managed to get done, I finally got the Raid Sparrow. I was pretty happy about that. One of my buddies that needed 1 KV got that. I was happy that, you know, people are making progress on what they need. I still need 1 KV. No dice there. We got the Triumph that we needed, the raid challenge that we didn't have yet, which was, I think it's called the Witch Challenge, or maybe that wasn't the one. The Coliseum, I don't know. It's something or else. It was Shirochi. We got that done. It ended up being pretty easy. We got it on the second try. And then I've been looking at trying to get the 2 books I didn't have for Chronicler complete, which was the Varix lore book and the Cade lore book. And those are a little trickier to get because the Cade lore book you can only get from opening world chests, I believe, or opening Cade stash chests, which you can no longer get new Cade stash chests because you had to have treasure maps that Cade sold. Can't get those anymore. Unless, I guess, maybe if you're on a new character, you can. I'm not sure. Or did they take them out? I don't know. Either way, there wasn't a best way to get them, except if you played the daily heroic mission when I think the name of the... What is the name of the mission? I want to say the name of the mission is The Man They Call Cade, but that could be the book. Either way, it's the mission that you play as part of the Ace of Spades quest. And when you go through that, you're opening 10 different Cade stash chests. And so you have really good chances of getting those lore pieces from those chests. Mm-hmm. So it finally popped up today. It may have come up before, but I missed it. I keep forgetting to check every day. But my buddy texted me, he's like, it's up today. I was like, yes. So I went while my daughter was taking a nap, and I did it for an hour and a half and got those pieces I needed, completed that lore book. And then the Varix lore book, you get those pieces from, I guess the best chances are when the Tangled Shore is the flashpoint. And luckily enough, Tangled Shore is the flashpoint this week. So kind of chipped away at that this week. You can get them from heroic public events, or you can get them from adventures or lost sectors. And I just, the beginning of the week, I was just kind of doing a little of everything. we tried grinding out a lost sector. We did it maybe like 20, 30 times, didn't get anything. So we gave up on that. And what we were hoping for was for the rider adventure to come up on the daily adventure. And it had not popped up yet. But today, the trickster came up, and we found on Reddit a tip for how with 2 people to kind of speed that adventure up a little bit by like splitting up. And so me and my buddy Darth, we tackled that, and we were both able, I literally, while we've been recording, got the last piece that I needed. So I got those
Very
knocked
nice.
out. So now I just have to wait like everybody else for the rest of the Truth to Power entries for that good old Chronicler title. Got all
Very
the
nice,
other lore
man.
required. Was happy about
Yeah,
that.
that's one that I'd like to have for sure.
So that's what I've been up to. We didn't get, unfortunately, to work on our Petra's Run attempts this week because everybody's schedules were a little crazy. I think between real life and like Valentine's Day and this and that. So we're going to make some more attempts this coming reset. Wish us luck. And I think for me, all I need is Petra's Run and 1KV now, which are oddly enough like probably the 2 biggest white whales for most people trying to get those. But
Yeah.
I've eliminated all the other, stuff that would get in the way. So I just got to wait for the right things to happen. Get that Ribbonsbane, man. I'm going to get it.
Everything to
I'm
line up.
determined.
Yeah, you're gonna have quite a few titles, dude.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep. So that's what I've been up to in Destiny. I played a little bit of Crimson Doubles like we talked about. And one of my friends is convincing me actively to try to get the hand cannon for comp. What is the freaking
Lunas.
Lunas? There you go.
Lunas out. Yep.
Lost it for a moment. He's convinced. He's like, when are you gonna get Lunas? You gonna try to get Lunas? Carry your Lunas.
It's a great gun, dude.
So I think
I haven't used it much recently, though. Especially not since last word.
I think maybe next week I might start working on some of the steps in the quest. Like getting the hand cannon kills and doing this and that. Just going in and like this is what they recommended. Like go in and get all that stuff done, and then maybe when the next season starts, I might jump in with some comp players and try to get, to that, what is it, Fabled? Is that what it's called?
Yep, Fabled.
I'm showing how much I don't know.
You've been playing a lot of Crucible. That's okay.
Just because it would be cool to
that's
do.
it, man.
Like, I think I can do it. And it's a thing I don't have, so I might try to do it.
Play Trials.
And it'll
quite
be
a bit back
fun
in
for
the day,
my
too.
friends to watch me suffer through what they've suffered through,
Yeah. No, that'll be fun, dude.
So that's
You have to do it.
That's the future goals there.
You'll have to. I will say it is painful to not have it or not forgotten in a meta where many guardians have it.
Right.
So you have to find.
I can live with it.
Your.
I don't. Totally believe
there's
that
plenty to challenge it. There's plenty of stuff to challenge it.
I don't
Especially
believe
last
that
word
gun
these
is
days.
going to make or break that experience for me. Like I get how other players have it, but I really believe that comes down to like your gun skill. Like if your gun skill is crap, that gun's not going to help you.
Right. Yep.
If your gun skill's good,
Definitely.
like you're still going to win some engagements. Like people that have that gun aren't going to have picture perfect positioning and aim every time that you're in a 1v1, Like there's some advantages there and it's a good gun, but it really comes down to being a good player. Like
it doesn't make you good.
Yeah, you can.
But
do
it definitely shoots like a D1 hand cannon.
Oh, I bet.
It is potent,
I
dude.
bet. But I can.
I say
on,
last word's good. Last word's not a great counter for it, but if your playstyle supports last word and you can get them in those corridors and stuff, dude, you'll just.
I can
destroy
see that. I haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet, but I'm gonna. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I wish we
figure out
had
what'll
cross
work for
progression
me.
or played on the same console. It'd be fun to play PvP with you again.
Man, one of these days they'll
day.
do something with that.
Destiny 3 when Trials relaunches.
Right? I mean, how huge would that be, dude?
Yeah.
Man, that'd be
awesome.
amazing.
there's that.
So that was my reset. That's about it, man. That's the thing. That's
Excellent.
The reset.
We did get some Dirt Fam discourse this week.
Oh yeah, you wanna read that email? You wanna do it?
Yes, I would love to. We got an email from Big Daddy Plaid. Got a good question here. The subject line was, what new content would you like to see added to the game? Hey, Dirt Fam. I'm wondering, if you could add some new feature to existing content of D2, what would that be? Personally, I'd really like to see something done with our ships. We spend an insane amount of time in our ships. Why not make them a more interesting part of the game? Furthermore, how the heck do we travel from planet to planet all the time and just so happen to never encounter enemy ships along the way? I'd rather not be that lucky. What if ships were customizable, not just with shaders and transmat effects, but with weapons that we can grind for or build with Amanda Holiday? Then imagine this. We are traveling to destinations and every so often we have a run-in with enemy ships and we can choose to either engage or evade. Sometimes you just want to get where you are going. So in other words, you don't engage. Imagine an interstellar dogfight with your Guardian at the helm and fire team as wingmates battling to a mother ship where you invade and take out a boss to get powerful gear and ship parts. I feel like there are so many ways to tie this into the game. I really am surprised that it hasn't been visited. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Best, Big Daddy Plaid, DoD Rebellion. That's a excellent question.
This is a question that comes up at least once a year. Not discounting, like, it's a great question. Like, I love talking about this, but point being, like, it's a commonly requested thing. Like,
yes.
How are we in spaceships and we don't have space combat yet, right?
Space combat and the customizing factor.
Yeah,
both of those things have
and
always
it's funny
come up.
because, man, I really wish this is one of those opportunities where my memory is gonna fail us here, but it was very recently. It was either on a talk. I want to say it was like a GDC talk or something I was reading, talking about Destiny, the original like Destiny development process. It was like in the past 6 months. Somewhere, some Bungie dev was talking about this and why this was not in the game. I'm going to try to go dig back and find where this was. But there's a technical reason. There's a technical reason why that stuff's not in the game, because I think that they considered it at the beginning. But for whatever reason, you know, whether it's for the user experience or technically like it's not great for the engine or the type of game that we're playing, it's not there, right? It's not to say it won't ever happen. I think it'd be a lot cooler if it did. But yeah, I would just love to see, like he mentioned, customizable ships, dude. I want to build my own ship. I want to like go.
That part would be cool. There's so many layers there.
I want to go to Amanda Holiday and bring her parts and make like the coolest spacecraft, you know?
Yeah. Like it's there's so many layers of the space combat one too, right? Even if it was just like an old arcade game where you didn't really do anything, but you could move your ship around
just
and
make
like
it
shoot
like
at things.
Space
Even if it was just like an arcade game. Yeah. You could just do that to start. But then, there's the whole, I mean, some of this stuff he gets into is awesome. But then, the whole customizing thing. Like people have asked for a while, like if we could, almost like Mass Effect, right? You could be in your ship. It's like your place. That would be something that would be really cool down the road too, right? Like you could have your fire team on board and like, check out my ship, dude. Customize the outside and the inside.
Yeah.
That could even be like, he asks, what content we'd like to see. I've said it how many times now at this point, but some sort of mini game in the tower, right? And even if we don't get that, a card game, whatever, I'm always over and over again asking for, like, being able to customize your ship is kind of that, and you could have that on your ship, right? That would be cool too. Like there's a table in the corner of your ship and your fire team's on there and you guys sit down and play a little Destiny card game.
There you go.
Some fashion.
Keep
like
us
there's he's
while.
right. There's definitely plenty to explore in that. And it is surprising, but like you said, if there's some sort of technical aspect, maybe they'll be able to figure it out by Destiny 3.
I'd love to
some
see
of that Mass
like
Effect type stuff.
Future ancillary properties that could tie into Destiny, like mobile games, or like you mentioned, like card games, like things like that are in the Destiny universe, or like can even connect to the main game in interesting ways that you can play elsewhere. You know, like I'd love to have like a social game that I could play on my phone with my friends that play Destiny, and it'd give you like
cool.
rewards, like unique rewards in the game, or even just have like the Destiny universe and storyline tie into it somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. No, anything you can do. That's what this is our hobby, right?
Yeah.
This game. We love this game. So anything you can do outside of the game would be fantastic, right? Any way you could, other than reading lore is an example, right? That's what you can do outside the game when you're not playing.
Yeah, it makes the world feel bigger and more vibrant, more interesting, right?
Anything you could incorporate that way inside the Destiny app. If there was some little,
I think there's a lot of
card game in there,
those avenues of content for Destiny and for Bungie, you know, to grow on, and who knows how long that, you know, is out there, but I hope they do something.
While
new.
We still are in that little window where the future beyond the annual pass is a bit unknown right now. As it gets closer, we'll learn more, and then it's exciting to talk about stuff like this and think about where the franchise could go.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of stuff.
Well, thanks for that email, Big Daddy Plaid.
Yeah. Excellent topic.
Love that name.
So good.
Always get a kick out of unique names in the world.
Random.
If you would like to send us some
X's
discourse, well, if you want to know how to do it, you can send us an email, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a speakpipe, speakpipe.com/destinyreset. It's a little like a voicemail. And we'd love to hear what you think about things we're talking about on the show. If you've got a, you know, thing you'd like to see in the game, like Big Daddy Plaid here, let us know. We'd love to talk about it. Or maybe just give a shout out. Join our, enter our contest. Tell us about your Crimson Bond. And it could get played here.
There you go.
All right, man.
Another week.
The time in the show where we recognize our patrons. Do we have any new patrons this week?
We don't. I'm pretty sure there's some out there pending.
That's right. Everybody's spending money on their significant others, their loved ones, or maybe just buying themselves some Rocky Road ice cream because they only had Destiny. And in that case, I understand too.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So if you want to know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. You get a few perks if you do so. You get your gamer tag posted on our website, get a shout out here on the show, and you get an invite to a Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters. As always, got to give a big shout out and thank you to all of our supporters who month after month support us with their hard-earned bucks. Means a lot to us. Makes things just a little bit easier on these two guardians to do what we do. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, bud. I think we can put a button on it, call it a show.
Another reset.
One more.
Except with some Trials news this week.
So hang in there,
a little
man.
different.
I'm here for you. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm here.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
One text away.
All right. Where can the people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube primarily at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, man?
Perfect. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Mixer. And then finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter or on the web, www.destinyresetpodcast.com. That's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe on your favorite podcast app of choice.
There you go.
Yep. Do we have any new iTunes Apple podcast reviews this week?
What are you thinking?
I know.
Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure we did. We will give you a shout out next week,
okay.
Guardian.
Be sure
if iTunes didn't take so long to pull up. I think we did. I could be making that up. But anyways, thank you guys so much for your reviews.
You did.
And if you are there, Guardian, we'll give you a shout out next week.
Yeah. If you're listening and you listen on Apple Podcasts, we'd love for you to leave us a review helps us get seen and heard by more listeners like you. So good or bad feedback, we take it all. We want you to be honest. Please go leave us a review. We appreciate it.
Yes. There you go.
All
Thank
right.
you, Guardians.
Now it's a show.
It's a wrap.
Yep.
Until next reset, have fun playing Destiny 2 and take care, Guardians.